Well, hello, my friends. You guys asked for a German Mius front series, and guys, I am happy to oblige. We're going to be playing with the LSAH. If you guys want to put down below what that means, we'll try and get some background here. Division attached to the Kempf Army Group and took defense on the line Berezovka, Melizhovka, hills north of Okochi, eastern outskirts of Rubino, and hills south of Borki. This is a massive front line, guys, 60 kilometers. We've got a number of different groups here, the SS Das Reich and SS Totenkopf divisions. These are all transferred from another area, actually, to support this area. We also have 6 combat-ready Tigers, which seems like it's going to be pretty fun to use. But as you can see, this is a somewhat smaller battlefield than perhaps we're used to. I'm going to go ahead, guys, and pretty much just start setting up around the line. This is our main point of defense. So I'm pretty much anticipating a Soviet assault from this area, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to be happening here at Podobke. Let's see how we do, guys. Our first battle as the Germans in this campaign. Let's see how it goes. All right, my friends. Wow, what a beautiful battlefield. I mean, really, really, truly beautiful. Now, the setup of this battle is interesting to say the least. We've actually got a hill over here, first Ordivko. We've got a position over here with a tremendous amount of machine guns, mortar rounds, etc. What I'm just going to do, I'm pretty much just going to push some of these guys up here. We want to keep the leaders close by, so I'm going to put them over here and just really get these guns, these mortars, etc. a bit closer to the enemy. We're also anticipating an attack from up north. But what I'm going to do is just take some of these men and have them face west, just in case if we see the enemy, then at least we'll be able to respond. I think that's going to be as good as we're going to be able to get. We do have some anti-tank guns, and obviously if the Soviets come at us with, tanks, things like this, it ain't going to be easy, guys. It's just not going to be easy. It's a cold day here, extremely cold. Our SS divisions are ready for the fight. I'm already seeing some problems with placement of these machine gun units, so I'm going to get some of these guys to go ahead and pretty much get into these dachas, where they should be able to put up pretty good resistance against any sort of Soviet invasion. But if we go back here, also pretty neat dug-in positions here with our trenches. I like the position of the mortar here behind the line pretty much. He can fire at the enemy, etc., but they can't hit him. So, guys, as always, we're going to wait for contact, and we'll be back soon. Ivan has appeared, my friends, and the terrifying thing, he actually came across one of our machine gun units and one of our leader units here. We're going to have to move back. Actually, not one of our machine gun, one of our mortar units. So I'm going to try to move back with the leader, but this was a bit of a surprise for sure. I didn't expect him to come right across the ice like this. But they're definitely hitting us, guys, right across the ice. This potentially gives us a very good opportunity to get some nice shots on them, though. So I'm going to go ahead and start targeting them from over here, too. Make sure our men over here have begun firing. And I also see a lot of what looks to be Soviet commanders there with the flags. So I want to get in here quickly. In fact, I'm probably going to move these guys up a bit. I'm going to fast move them just to engage the enemy. It looks like we spotted the enemy before the actual AI did. Okay. All right, guys, so that's the front line right there. And remember, we have these guys up here on the hill that are dug in. I'm going to hope that they can actually react to this push. I'm going to go ahead and aim that way and select, of course, enemy units here. But unfortunately, they did catch some of our mortars and one of our commanders pretty much, without any defenses at all. And I can see a bunch of commanders here. This was poor placement on our part, getting them so close to the front. I don't want the enemy to capture those guys, so I immediately want to move in these machine guns, mortars, etc., and pretty much just start firing. So I'm going to go ahead and defend right here. We've already got an entire line concentrated on the enemy, but these guys are not in the trenches, so it's definitely going to be a tough fight. Communication as well, but no artillery of any sort, unless you count our AT guns. Feuermänner. Sehr gut. Okay, now we've got some machine guns, guys. We pushed these guys over here to the edge, and I think that was a good move. Even though they are out in the open here, we're going to keep the focus away from our commanders temporarily and keep the enemy focus over here on our men. Look at this. Unbelievable. You can already see machine gun fire going overhead, but we've definitely had some men go down, and finally it looks like the mortars are making contact with some of Ivan's men here. Looks like also our machine guns are starting to sort of zero in there on the enemy position. Let's just hope we can stop them, guys. We can see the enemy is firing at us too, trying to knock out as many of our commanders as they can with their mortars. This is actually a pretty good idea. Again, if I were playing as the Soviets right now, my main goal would be just to push through and try and kill all the commanders we have right here. And what the hell is wrong with me? We've got a huge gun here. Sorry, boys. Get Gruber around. Though I don't see a gun. Potentially they never had one, and that's just a mistake. Or maybe the gun is elsewhere and I'm just not spotting it. But we do see those mortar rounds hitting the snow there. Beautiful. And I do believe that we're getting some pretty decent hits on the enemy. Alright, guys. Not sure if this is SS Das Reich or SS Totenkopf. Both are extremely, extremely elite divisions, at least at this point in the war. I've made videos in the past, and I'll say it again. The SS really were not an elite division until about 1943, mid-1943. Before that, they were really nothing more than... I mean, you know, certainly they were violent, dangerous, etc., but I would say more like a group of thugs than an actual elite group of soldiers. But after seeing so much combat, these guys, they know exactly what they're doing, and that bravery shows here. We've given them an order. It's not in the best position. They're out in the open, but they are accomplishing that order with great ferocity. You can see every single Kar 98 is firing at the enemy here. There's not a single guy cowering or taking cover from enemy fire. These guys are ready to die for the Reich. That's quite obvious. I'd really like Ivan to give up here. They're not going to get across, but they're still going to try. And of course, a 60-kilometer front, guys, all they need to do is break in a tiny part of that front, and suddenly Ivan can get behind our army. You know, we really need to do everything we can to hold this position. I just want to see if they've pushed over here, and we have a T-34. I was worried about this, guys. That's going to be a T-34. Where's our gun? Got a gun right here. Man, we better hope these guys have some training. And we're going to go ahead and select that T-34 unit. Might not have enough command points for them to follow my orders directly, or it could be a lack of communication. But they are not turning right now, and that's not exactly a very, not a very intimidating weapon, guys. I mean, I don't know if that can take out a T-34. We're just going to try and keep them at bay as long as possible. Of course, continue that fire on the enemy infantry, and hopefully, if we end up dealing with tanks, we can at least have taken out enough of their infantry to make up for it. But we'll see what happens. Die Russen kommen! Excellent shots there by our boys. More enemy contact. Let's see where that's coming from. And that's going to be, of course, the tank, man. This is terrifying. Really not much we can do about this thing. I'm really hoping that that gun is going to do its job. But I don't think it is. I really don't. All right, we've got some targets on it. Somebody's firing. And typically units won't fire at the T-34 unless they know they can take it out. In this case, though, we see it's being also followed by some infantry. So they're making a concerted effort here behind the tank to get that infantry in. I'm going to target them. I'm hoping that maybe one of our units has something like a Panzerfaust. I don't think so, though. I really don't. Let's hope so. I think one good thing that seems to be occurring here, the enemy doesn't seem to be really aware of where our trenches are. They might have spotted these, but they don't know where the rest are, so this tank is kind of just hanging out there. If we just had one good gun, it'd be easy to knock this thing out. You know, it's right out there in the open, but unfortunately we don't. It's almost looking like this area is clearing up. There's still plenty of Soviets here, but they have taken some pretty nasty hits. And just, you know, this is basic line of sight. There's bodies we're not seeing right now, but we can see just a few bodies on the ground here. I mean, look at this. Look at that, guys. Unbelievable. This is all thanks to our machine guns and just pretty standard rifle fire from those SS divisions also. As well as, of course, the mortars coming in right now, helping us big time on this particular part of the battlefield. Let's take a look. All right, we're getting some shots off. It sounded like that could have been an anti-tank rifle. Maybe our boys do have some AT rifles here. I definitely saw that get hit. Is it possible? Yes! Our gun is firing, guys. These boys are finally doing what's right. But can this gun take out that tank? I sure hope so, man. We're hitting it in the front right now. I really want it to turn, of course. It's such a tiny little AT gun. Here we go. Come on, man. You can do it. You can do it, baby. Yeah. Just one hit in the side armor of that thing, and we could pretty much put it out of commission. Ooh, nice! Whoa! That was close. Unfortunately, not close enough. It's another hit. And as you can see, that gun is just too small, guys. I'm not thinking our AT gun is sufficient to knock out a tank like this unless we get, like, a perfect hit. It's just kind of pinging off. Even off the side, it's just kind of pinging off. It's not really doing much. We need some Pack 88s, man. We need some serious firepower here. An 88 would have this thing destroyed with the first round. But they're getting off quite a few shots with this thing and probably damaging our trenches. Let's take a look here. Yeah, man. Keep hitting it. Keep hitting the location, but we got to start getting... zeroing in here on the enemy. Keep an eye over here as well, because I don't want our trenches to be overrun, but if any trenches are going to be overrun during this battle, these are going to be the ones overrun. Just got my eyes forward. Pretty under fire here also by the enemy tank. Maybe popping some smoke there to protect the tank from any more AT fire. Whatever the case, we've just got to keep these guys... under lock and key, specifically the infantry that tried to cross this massive ice pack. No need to do any sort of counterattack or anything like that. I think our leaders are going to be just fine, thankfully. But in the future, we got to be much more careful about leader placement. These officers would have pretty much been killed, almost certainly, had we not responded very quickly to that situation. And there's still more Soviets trying to get across here. Ivan hasn't given up. Look at that, man. It looks like almost an entirely new team actually trying to cross. You are crazy, Ivan. This guy's firing at us. We have so many men in that position. I wouldn't recommend that. I would actually take my chance at the Gulag before trying to charge that line. Another hit on the enemy tank there. Look at that. We're getting hits, but again, these are mortars for the most part. I mean, all we've really done is mess the road up for the tank. He's even showing his backside to us, and even then, I don't think this gun's going to be able to break through. But I'll target him anyway. You know, maybe we'll get a lucky shot. There we go. Foya. All right. The one positive aspect of this particular AT gun is the fact it can fire pretty quickly. Reload is not an issue. But it doesn't seem like... Here we go, another hit. Just doesn't seem like he's able to deliver the killing blow to the enemy here. Although, maybe we might have a stuck tank, guys. This would be extreme luck on our side. I think that T-34 is stuck. It usually happens to us, but when it happens to the enemy, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. Starting to think that maybe we could take these guys and lead them on a cleaning up operation. Lebenhauser, group, let's just call it Group Lehenbauer, excuse me, to clean up any more of the Soviet infantry in this position. My concern is, though, if we charge across an equally open ice field here, they could have enemies, machine gun positions, mortar positions over here, which would knock our guys out with little difficulty. I'm pretty sure that's a stuck tank, man. That is very, very good news for us if it is. Ooh, he may have gotten out. I think he's unstuck. Nope, nope. He's still trying to move. All right, guys, we're going to keep it up. Just keep on firing at any infantry moving up. Obviously, not much we can do about the tank. But if he's not a threat, he's not a threat. My machine gun is definitely a threat. He's still going to be able to damage us quite a lot here. But I think the worst is over with. Okay. Just want to have these guys keep their eyes forward. I prefer, obviously, that the commanders don't even have to engage with the enemy, but it's pretty obvious they're going to have to. Maybe a few stragglers, so I just want them to have their eyes forward and at least be marking those targets. Fire away! Just love seeing all those Kar 98s firing at once. For any of you that have played Graviteam Tactics, you know how tough it is to get an entire division to pretty much do exactly what you want them to do, but these SS boys, they're more than willing to follow orders. Let's fire over there too. And it looks like they're just now. Oh, we got a second tank. We got a second tank. I knew it was too good to be true. Yeah, we got a second tank coming up to us, guys. Not even sure if that is a T-34. I could be mislabeling this thing, and if I am, let me know. And that's 2 tanks. 2 enemy tanks approaching. This is a problem, guys. Now, I'm not going to be accepting, at least I don't think I'm going to be accepting a ceasefire or anything like that. Or I should say, I'll accept a ceasefire. I won't accept a retreat. I'm just not going to retreat from this location. They're going to have to drive all the way up here. And what we'll do if we have to, guys, is go ahead, pause, and come back when the battle begins. Look at how those Soviet soldiers are right on top of the tank. That's really cool, man. Pretty much being brought in by the tank to the battlefield. And I think at the very least, these men can unfortunately give their lives to the Reich and stop the enemy infantry. That's pretty much what I think the job of these frontline trenches is going to be. Because if that T-34, I believe it's a T-34, gets here, we're in trouble. Just going to go ahead and focus everybody here. Especially our little mini AT gun. It's like a Tonka. It's a Tonka AT gun is what this is. It's child-friendly, child-safe. There we go. Oh. Come on, man. So you can see us still firing. That AT gun still firing at that position. You can hear it actually pinging. But it's just not strong enough to break through that armor, unfortunately. Might be able to take the tracks off, but I think even that would take a lot of luck. Maschinengewehr. Achtung. Pretty much got our eyes on anybody moving up this particular road, but of course, nothing we can do about that armor. We just keep on taking out those soldiers, though. Look at that. We got an officer down over here, regular soldier here. They think that armor is going to protect them, but I promise you, we've got more than enough troops in this town to account for every single soldier that they send across the front. And look at this. They still continue to push. This is incredible, but they still continue to push over here, guys. So we'll have to teach them the lesson. Oh, yeah. It's almost like just a turkey shoot. Our guys aren't even taking it very seriously. They're just kind of like, yeah, we see the enemy. That's nice. I love that MP40. That is just really nice looking. But so far, it looks like the elevation is just slightly off. They'd have to come a little bit closer for these guys to spot them and open up. And I don't even think that's going to be necessary. We can see even at a distance, more than a few of these Soviets have gone down. And this commander is trying to actually, looks like he's tending to his wounds, but this is not a time I would recommend you tending to your wounds. Still hear that gun pinging off the tanks, guys. Incredible. Not doing anything, but brave enough to continue trying at the very least. All right, folks. I'm going to cut through this video. I did promise we'd do some more editing here, especially with Graviteam Tactics. And this battle could go on probably 40-50 minutes. So what I'm going to do is pause here. Once we get another thing happening, we'll come back. If not, we'll show you guys the last part of the battle, of course. I think pretty much the tough part is over. Now we just have to worry as to whether or not those tanks are going to get up on our trenches, at which point I'll come back. Or they could just stay put and continue firing. As always, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video so far, make sure to hit that like button, comment down below. So important for you guys to hit that like and comment. It gets us up on the YouTube lists, guys, so please do me that one favor. Hit that like, comment, and let me know what you'd like to see in future episodes. All right, folks. We've got the area under heavy fire, of course, because of the Soviet tanks approaching. You could see just tremendous amounts of mortars, etc., popping all over the place. And again, the idea here is we can't stop their tanks. We could slow them down, but what we can do is pretty much wait for their infantry to approach and open right up on the infantry. So anytime we've seen any units get out here, they've been completely decimated. We can just see over here a quick look at the Soviet casualties while you guys have been gone. Pretty incredible stuff, man. They're trying to get in here with their infantry, and that's not going to happen. They might be able to push through with their tanks, but they're not getting through with infantry. No way. Now, I'm still trying to hope that maybe we get lucky and we're able to get a shot on one of these guys and take out the tank, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Another thing that's happened, let's take a look here. So our poor gunners, they are still operational, but you can see there, they took a direct hit, taking out 2 of them, and I must say, ever since, they just haven't been the same. They really haven't been firing. They could also be out of ammo. Let's check. I don't think they're out of ammunition. No, they're fine on ammo. But they just haven't been fighting as tough, and I guess that kind of makes sense when you see what they're up against. At this point, we're going to keep going. I did say I wasn't going to retreat, but then again, if we retreat, we're not necessarily losing a victory point. I believe we just have that 1 victory point, so it's something to consider. It's not something we want to do yet, but it's definitely something we want to keep in mind as a possibility. Again, if that tank keeps on moving through, we still have Soviets, guys, this entire time, although in very small groups, trying to cross over here. I don't know what the guy thinks he's going to do with the DPS HK at that distance. Guys are entrenched. Not going to really do much, but oh well. We've also stayed in our trenches. I've been really tempted to just hop out of the trench and see if we can't get a grenade, a lucky grenade on the tank, but I'm actually not going to do that. I'm just going to pretty much stay here. We got plenty of fire going out to stop any infantry advance. You know, 1 trench, of course, this one right here, was taken out. Our men retreated. A lot of them were killed as they left. Which goes to show you, man, stay put in the trench no matter what. Even if there's a tank on top of you, you've got more of a chance of survival in those trenches than you do out here in the open, like these Soviets have found out. Now, this is my concern. Our guys are going to fight a lot better when they're sort of mixed in like this. But, of course, if they take a hit, it's going to be a nasty one. We'll turn that gun around. That little mini AT gun. And let's just hope it's enough, man. Come on. Get out of the way. We're going to have to spread these guys out. We might have to go for an assault just to spread these guys out a bit. Well, there we go. Did they finally get out of the way? Still no? Wow. We're going to have to advance, guys. It's just what has to be done right now. And again, only in an effort to see if we can't take that tank out with this gun. Put these officers right there. So I'm pretty much trying to get the officers in some defensive position, I guess you could call it. And I don't know, man. Part of me is thinking, like, yeah, maybe it's a good idea to retreat now. We've done a lot of damage to their infantry, and we're going to get tanks later. But sort of the Teutonic side of me is saying, no, you have to stay put. You can't give up this position. It's got to make Ivan at least work for it. That's going to be the AT gun. Vehicle lost. Or one of our mortars. Yeah, it looks like it might be a mortar there. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, for a second there, I was so happy. I saw that 3rd tank was missing. I was like, did we potentially get a direct hit on that thing? I think so. There we go. That's a direct hit. Now, that's artillery fire. It's another direct hit. But I don't think it's going to be enough to take this behemoth out. I mean, maybe we've scared the hell out of the crew. Alright, yeah, that was bound to happen. So they finally panicked the trench out of pretty much out of fighting. They're going to run. That first trench is going to run, but they still have a lot of ground to cover, guys, before this is considered a victory for Ivan. So I think I keep fighting. All right, folks, I think this is going to be our last act of defiance during this battle. Imhoff is about to be overrun, no doubt about it. And we're losing a lot of guys just to pretty much continuous tank fire, which, you know, it's no fun. It's not going to be a winning strategy. I hate to surrender, I hate to retreat, but I think that is the option right now, is to pretty much go ahead and retreat. You can see there the positions the enemy holds. Borki, Sovichos, all these areas behind us. We have Pedopke and the school. Now, we can probably retake these areas, but I think we're going to need tanks to do it. So I'm going to go ahead. I am going to call the withdrawal. I know I hate to do it, but I really think that strategically it's probably the best option right now. We're not going to take these tanks out. They're just going to rake us up and down the line. Just keep on moving, shooting at our guys, and we're going to lose a lot more men than we really need to in this battle. So let's go ahead. We're pulling back, guys. Let's take a look. Let's see how this battle turned out for us. So total defeat is acceptable because, yeah, we retreated there. It looks like the enemy casualties, 6 killed, 57 heavily wounded. We had 20 killed, 61 heavily wounded. Pretty amazing that we knocked out a lot of these guys, but vast majority of them were wounds. Let's take a look here at the combat map. There we go. You can see the videos that I watch when I'm not playing games. Yeah, I'm watching Training Day. We could get Kutler, move him up here. You can see that our guys are undergoing fatigue, but what we really need are those damn tanks. And finally, we have access to one of the tanks here, one of the Panzers, and we could, if we wanted, begin an assault on this area. But I'm not going to do anything before you guys tell me what you think we should do here in this instance, and I'm going to follow your lead, guys, for this campaign. So thank you so much, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.